Rose baby, she was so concerned about getting into into Google Classroom. She forgot about me. All right, can y'all see recording up at the top? Okay, perfect. All right, so we are in Google Classroom, getting everybody signed up. That's what we've done so far. Let's see. Move this a little bit. All right, so like I said, for the stream side of it, we will have, anytime there's an assignment, it will show up on the stream. And then I'll always have the virtual classroom out there. You know, like I said, if you want to go, there's links and things for you to go to. But most of the time, the links that I'll put in the virtual classroom are also under classwork. But again, you can see everybody out there. Uh-oh, Garrett must have got kicked out.
I didn't get kicked out.
What happened? Oh, is there another Garrett?
No, I'm just seeing if I could sign in on this other computer.
Oh, on the other one. Well, that's cool.
This one has a bigger screen and it's an older style, so I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, if that helps, for sure, you can do it. All right, cool. All right, so almost everybody in there. That looks good. So for classwork, the first thing we're going to talk about this week is our warm-ups. I love my warm-ups in real life, and again, hopefully I'll be able to watch you do those at some point. But our warm-ups are basically where we are practicing our keyboarding. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to kind of show you how it works today, and then when we get here on Wednesday, I'll say, all right, everybody come on in and do your warm-up. So I will, while I'm taking attendance and hitting the record button, I will have a warm-up for you guys to do. So we'll do that every day when you get here. And it's really cool. It's a really cool website. And it's called freetypinggame.net. And it has all kinds of really awesome ways to learn how to keep your hands in the right spot on the keyboard, and just how to get faster. It times you your words per minute. I know some of you all worked on this in elementary school, and they would do your characters per minute sometimes, like with Miss Barnhill. Characters would be like the actual letters of the word. So once you get older, that sort of changes, and how people time you when you get older is how many words per minute you can type. So that's what we're going to start. That's what our goal is going to be. But I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And it is under, well, I didn't even tell you where it was. It's under the keyboarding unit. And so how that's going to work is I'm going to start out with showing you the website. So that way you can go ahead and do your warm-ups each day, and we can go ahead and get started. But eventually we're going to go through the lessons, and we're also going to set up a Google spreadsheet, and that way we can track how much faster you get each day, and you'll be able to see how much better you're getting by the end of the semester. So it's really pretty cool. So, but we're going to practice a little bit first, and we're going to do some things with keyboarding. Like, we're going to take some notes, and we're going to learn the basics of keyboarding and why it's set up this way, and then we'll start tracking ourselves. So today's just going to be sort of like today and Wednesday will just sort of be practice. And then maybe next week we'll go ahead and start with the tracking it and setting up our spreadsheet. All right, so the website looks like this. It has the orange bar at the top. They have games, they have lessons, they have tests, scoreboards, and there's a way that you can customize it. When we do our words per minute and test ourselves on those, we always use the test. And I might say, for example, click on test and go to, scroll down, go to classic tail. They have all different kinds. 20, let's say 27. And you're going to do a 2-minute test. So they give you an option between 1 and 5 minutes. So you'll get real familiar with this, like I said, because we're going to use it every day. It's a little tricky in the beginning just because it's weird sort of how it sets it up. But once you hit start test, it does not start timing you until you actually start typing. So like right here, even if I hit start right now, it doesn't start until I actually put my hands on the keyboard. So your goal when we do these lessons, and we'll go through the lessons first that sort of help you with where to keep your fingers. But I might let you do a couple of lessons and then you'll do one of the classic tales. These are more fun just because they're actually like stories that you can do. But I'm going to try the first one. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. See, nothing's timing me. Right now it says time 1 minute, words per minute 0. All right, so I'm going to go. Get nervous. You have to do punctuation. You have to capitalize. And if you mess up, see how it turns red if I mess up? You have to go back and fix your mistakes because that's part of learning how to type. Everybody's going to make mistakes. So learning to go back and fix those is part of your words per minute. So anytime you see something in red, you want to go back and fix it because it'll take away from your time. .63. Now, that is not my best time. Normally I'm in the mid 70s, but I was talking while I was doing that. So, and I messed up at the very end. I got a red mark at the very end. So it tells you right here. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes you'll hit an extra letter and you don't have time to backspace. So right now it actually tells me my words were 60 words per minute, just because I had that error at the very end. But normally I'm like in the mid 70s. Now, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I was like close to 100. Once you hit 40, it starts to slow down a little bit, but you know, don't tell anybody that. But I have kids in middle school. I mean, and I know some people start out hunting and pecking, and you have to look at your hands to see where you're typing, and that's fine. But by the time we get finished with this class, you'll have these keys memorized. So right now, what you want to start sort of trying to memorize is where your hands are on the home row keys. And that would be A, S, D, F, J, K, L, semicolon. So that's where your fingers are supposed to stay. And if you've ever seen somebody type fast, you see how their hands sort of stay in the middle right there. I have an 8th grader right now who can type about 112 words per minute. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Normally and just to give you an idea of where it ranges, and I mean, I have had people that are slower and some that are faster, but normally for 5th grade, your goal is to be about 20 words per minute. Normally just 5th grade, you know, your hands are smaller. You don't quite have the dexterity to move your hands quite as quick. 6th grade, that's one of the first things that changes for 6th graders. I know it's weird, but your hands start to look different. They just start to look more grown. So 6th graders are usually somewhere between 25 and 30 words per minute. And then usually my 7th and 8th graders will start to range between 40 and 50. That 8th grader that I have, he's amazing. I've put him on Twitter before. It's amazing to watch him type it so fast. Anyway, so that's how that works. That's how the test work. And it always says, you want to put your speed on the scoreboard. I always say no, I'm clearly not going to be the fastest. But let me go through and show you some of the lessons too, because that is how we'll sort of start out. How the lessons work, see, you can see it's not quite as fun because it's just sort of showing you where to put your hands on the keyboard, but you're not really typing words. You're just sort of like getting used to the feel of where they go and how to move them there. But it does help you memorize the keys. So I know that these sort of get kind of boring, but they are very helpful. And so like they'll put goals on there, like if you wanted to be at 15 words per minute, things like that. There's also lessons, and we'll do some of those. There's also the lessons under test as well. They have, like how it starts out with the classic tales. If you scroll up, it will start with like home row only or home row plus the letter E and N. So those will sort of build up your memory and your sort of memorize how your hands move. But again, once you get to the end of the semester, you're not even going to be able to think about it. You'll just be just like this. It'll be great. So this is how our warm-ups will be every day. So you'll just click on that link, and I'll either let you know if you go to lessons or if you get a test. And some days we'll go to games, because the games are pretty cool too. They have like you have to type while you're driving down the road so you don't get in a wreck. I mean, they have the dancing one with the little the duck, and they have a lot of cool ones. Halloween ones, things like that. So you're just typing the words sort of as they fall down the screen. But so those are pretty fun. And then once we get going and everybody really has the keys at least memorized, at least the homework keys, then I have some other websites that are a little bit trickier that we'll use as well. But it's really fun. I love watching people get faster and faster. All right, so that's our warm up. And like I said, on Wednesday when you get here, instead of you just staring at me while I take attendance, I'll have a warm up for you to do every day, okay? All right, let's see, close out that website, maybe not. There we go. Oh no, not all my stuff. All right, so now we're going to get back to Google Classroom. Just close out of everything. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is our e-portfolio. And my 6th graders know all about this because they've done this. Unless you're brand new to the school, you've already done a e-portfolio. You've done 1 whole year of an e-portfolio. You've had 2 different elective classes. You should have set it up at the beginning of your 5th grade year, added your 1st semester class, and then you would have added your 2nd semester class with your 2nd elective. So my 6th graders are going to be a little bit of a pro. They at least have it already set up. It's definitely not something that we used all the time, 5th graders. So my 6th graders are probably going to be a little bit rusty just because we didn't do it on a daily basis. What the e-portfolio is basically just a website that you are going to create in Google Sites. And it is where you are going to, I just said Google on my phone popped up. That's funny. All right, so you're going to create a website, and it's going to be for your elective classes from the 5th grade all the way through to the 8th grade. And it's really going to be cool to see like what you've done in each class. So really it's where you're going to showcase your best work. So like if you have me this semester, we're going to put in some of the cool things that we create. You might even want to put in your keyboarding spreadsheet when we start tracking how much you can type. So we're just going to add like really cool things that we've done each semester. Usually I require people to add 2 or 3 things throughout the semester that they really enjoyed and that they really are proud of. So then you might take art next semester. So next semester you might create this awesome drawing, or you might create a weaving that you've done in art, and you would take a picture of that and upload it to your e-portfolio. So, and then you'll do that every year with all your elective classes and just sort of showcase all the best stuff that you've done. That way, when you get to high school, you can have a good idea of things that you've done and sort of showcase like to your teachers and say, oh, I did this and we've done this. And it also might even help, you know, when you're at the point where you're applying for college and things like that. So you could keep adding to it forever and ever. It's yours, you know, forever. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you the rubric first. And all of this is under our classwork section under the ePortfolio tab. And I'll just show you the rubric just so you can sort of see what you'll be doing. And again, it's a website that you create, but we do call it our ePortfolio. So sort of like you would make a portfolio like a book and show it to someone. It's like that, but it's on a website. All right, so here's our guidelines. And if you have a question, just hit the little raise your hand button, or you can just unmute yourself and yell at me. All right, so for Middle Academy Technology ePortfolio guidelines, and each elective teacher might do it a little bit differently. But an ePortfolio involves the student and or teacher selecting examples of their best work and displaying the information through a Google site. The portfolio will be graded in 2 ways. You will be graded throughout each quarter for progress, and you will be graded as a project graded in the semester. The portfolio is set up through your EWA Google account, just like everything else, and can be used as evidence of student work through middle school. If you choose to continue using your portfolio throughout high school, it can be used for college and scholarship applications. All right, items to include in your ePortfolio. A home page with a letter to the reader of your website discussing the purpose of this portfolio. A page for every elective class that you complete during middle and or high school, and then sub-pages for individual projects, presentations that you want to include. So the rubric looks like this. You get 30 points for using the correct process to create it, which I'm going to show you some videos. 10 points to create the homepage and to have 2 tabs. So you'll have your homepage happens automatically, and then you can add pages. Another 10 points that you have included at least 5 pieces of classwork or projects throughout this semester. And then 10 points, students include a title and a date for each one of their pieces of work. Another 10 points that you personalize your Google site. You want to make it reflect your personality. 50 points that you have included a written reflection for each piece of work for our class. So like, for example, if you decide to put in your, let's say you put in a document that we've created, and you want to explain what you did in the document. Like, I created this document using Google Docs, and it's a poster for, you know, whatever. So you're going to tell me what you used, what kind of program did you use, what type of pictures did you add, things like that. 10 points for that you've published it correctly and that you have the link. That stresses me out that 100 points is at the bottom of that, is at the top of the second page. I don't like that. It makes me crazy. All right, so those are the guidelines with your rubric attached. So anytime you need to look at that, that is under the ePortfolio section. All right, so now before you eat, and don't stress. I know maybe some of you 5th graders are like, I've never made a web page before. I don't know what she's talking about. We have 2 videos out here that tell you exactly how to do it. These videos were created by the elective team, and we use these throughout the semester just to keep you on track and make sure you've got everything in there correctly. The first video, video 1, is going to tell you the purpose of the ePortfolio, and then video 2 is going to sort of tell you exactly how to set it up. I hope we have enough time to watch both videos today. We're going to see. But like I said, these videos are here all the time. So if you start setting yours up and you're not in class with me and you are a little bit worried about what to do next, just go back to the video and pause it where you need to pause it, okay? But anytime, I'll have you share them with me, and we'll go in and just check them to make sure everything's sort of like how we want it to be. But let's go ahead and start with the first video, and let me know that if you can't hear it, let me know, because I've tried to get it where you should be able to hear.
Middle Academy ePortfolio Guidelines. An ePortfolio involves
Y'all can hear, Miss Henry? Okay, all right, perfect.
the student and or teacher selecting examples of their best work and displaying the information through a Google site. This portfolio will be graded in 2 ways. You can be graded throughout each quarter for progress, and you will be graded as a project grade at the end of the semester. This portfolio is set up through your EWA Google account and can be used as evidence of student work throughout your middle school years. If you choose, you can continue to use your portfolio throughout high school, and it can be used for college and scholarship applications. But what is an ePortfolio? Your ePortfolio is going to look something similar to this. For example, you're going to have a title up here. your name and ePortfolio, and your homepage. You can choose to name your homepage something other than your name and ePortfolio, but for the sake of mine, I just titled it Allison Henry and ePortfolio. On your homepage, you're also going to include a letter to your viewers. This letter might change over time because when you're in 8th grade, you're going to look back at what you wrote in 5th grade and think, I can probably write better than that. And you're probably going to change your letter. This portfolio is meant to grow with you as you grow as a student. So within your ePortfolio, you should have a home page explaining the purpose of the ePortfolio, a page for every elective class that you complete during middle school, and subpages for individual projects and presentations that you choose to include. You can include a picture of yourself. You can change the backgrounds. You can change the fonts and the colors. We're going to talk about how to do that in just a little bit. Now, if I'm in 5th grade, I'm going to have the option of a 5th grade, a 6th grade, a 7th grade, and an 8th grade tab. If I'm only in 7th grade, I'm only going to have 2 choices here, a 7th grade and an 8th grade tab. It all depends on what grade you are currently in. I'm going to pretend I'm in 5th grade. And so when I click on my 5th grade tab, it's going to take me to a separate page. And on this page, instead of writing another letter to the viewer, I'm just going to include an example of what I'm taking in first semester with a description and a description of what I'm taking in second semester. For my first semester of 5th grade, I'm taking Fundamentals of Art. So I've titled this subpage Fundamentals of Art. Once I've clicked on that subpage, now I can either give you another description of my Fundamentals of Art and then create more subpages for projects and presentations, or I can make this my page for all of my 5 entries that have to be included for my class. So my first entry is line and texture project. I've titled my entry. I've included an image of my artwork. And then underneath my artwork, I'm going to include a written reflection about this artifact. Your teachers will give you information of what their expectations are for your written reflections for each class. In this class, as I said before, or with this portfolio, as I've said before, we'll have to include all different examples of work that you've completed throughout your middle school career. So next semester, you may not have Miss Henry, or you may not have Miss Mondragon. You might have Miss Warren or Mr. Bonanno. You have to go in to their class and follow their expectations for their documents that you include as well. In the next video, I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to start your Google site, how to change your images, how to change the backgrounds, how to create pages and subpages, and you will need to be able to follow along as we go.
Okay, so that video, like I said, is just an overview. So 5th graders, again, don't get stressed. 6th graders have already been through this twice already. But 5th graders, that just tells you what the purpose of the ePortfolio is. And it is really cool. Once you, now that I've had 8th graders that have done it all 4 years, it is really neat to see how it progresses. All right, so the next video, I think we've got just enough time. The next video is, yes, Sam?
In business, I was in it last semester.
Right.
We never did our ePortfolio.
Yeah, sometimes Mr. Bonanno is a little forgetful when it comes to adding things to our ePortfolio. We've talked with him about that several times, but and that's fine as long as you just have. I mean, who did you have first semester, Miss Henry? Yeah. So as long as you have that first one, that'll help you sort of see what you need to do for the next year. And you can put a tab for Mr. Bonanno's class, because I know you guys did some things in Google Drive and things that you could add things yourself if you wanted to, if you wanted it to be complete, or you could just skip that one altogether. Okay. All right, so we're going to watch the second video. You won't be counted. Your grade won't be affected by the fact that you don't have his, okay? But I know for me, like if it was me making it, I wouldn't want to put my stuff in there. All right, so the second video is going to be more of like step by step on how to create a Google site. And just so you know how you start a Google site, and we're going to go over this in the video, but you click on your waffle just like you would for everything else in Google, and there's a button that says sites. When you click on this button, and I'm just going to show you real quick before we watch the video. It's loading. All right, so it looks sort of like this. It looks weird and a little strange. Let me move y'all down a little bit. But you want to make sure when you click on Google Sites and it comes to this, you want to click on the screen that says New Google Sites. And when you click on New Google Sites, it looks like this, which is much more user-friendly. And you can see these are all of the different websites that I've been working on. I have some that people have shared with me as well. So a lot of good stuff in here. These websites turn out really, really well. And they're pretty user-friendly, even for fifth graders. All right, so we are going to look at the second video now. Hopefully you have enough time. And again, this is the one that's step-by-step on how to create it. If you want to go ahead and get started now, we will spend more time on this in class. But if you do want to go ahead and get started working on it, you can use this video, pause it where you need it to go ahead and get set up. We will eventually start, I'll put out days where I need to see how much you've done so I can give you a grade. But right now we're just going over the overview of it. All right, so this is how you set it up. And again, you should be able to hear the video once I hit play. And I suggest just watch it all the way through first, and then you can go back. That way you can sort of see the whole picture.
Okay, so by this time you should have already logged into your Eastwick Academy email and clicked on your Google Drive. You should see a bunch of stuff that you've done in the past. Ignore all of that. You're going to come over to the waffle on the right-hand side and click on Google Apps and scroll down to Sites. Once you've clicked on Sites, it's going to bring you to this page. You're going to create in New Sites. Once it's done loading, it's going to bring you to a new page where you're going to start your ePortfolio. Now, this is really boring. You are not this boring. So you should be able to edit this page and make it reflect your personality. On your page title, well, first let's create a title site. We are going to change this to our first and last name. My first name is Allison. My last name is Henry _ e-portfolio. Okay, so notice that automatically changed the title in the top corner of your page. All right, then you're going to give your page a title. I'm going to title my page Middle School Electives ePortfolio. All right. Now, looking at this, I don't really love the way that this looks. So I might come in here and bring my E down to my portfolio. Or I can also stretch out this box so that the words fit the way that I want them to look. Okay, this is up to you. Okay, remember on this page, this is where you are going to write your letter to your viewer. So we're going to insert a text box. This is where I'm going to write my letter. And you can choose the type of font that you want to use here. I like to use heading because it makes my font nice and big. Letter to the viewer. Okay, you will have to write this on your own. If I want to insert an image, I'm going to go to Images. And I'm going to go to Google Drive and see what photos I might have of myself that I could include. Oh, there's a pretty picture of me. I'm going to select it and include it. Now, I don't like the way that this looks, so I can manipulate my page so that my letter to the viewer goes beside my portrait, or I can put my portrait on the right-hand side. That's up to you. You'll have to take a few minutes and play with that on your own. All right, if you want to change the image in the background behind your title, go to Change Image, select Image. You can upload images here as well, or you can search. You can search the internet for something that you like, as long as it's school appropriate. Remember though that this should look professional. This is something that you'll want to share with other people to represent yourself. You don't want to put something childish or silly up there. All right, so you're going to scroll. You can scroll through these pictures, kind of like that pink picture. I'm going to select that, and it's going to include it behind my title. Okay, now for creating pages. My home screen is this, Middle School Electives ePortfolio. If you look at the three dots on the right-hand side, when you click on that, you can add subpages. This is where you need to go to add your 5th grade subpage, your 6th grade subpage, your 7th grade subpage, as well as your 8th grade subpage. Again, if you are not in 5th grade and you are not in 6th grade, let's just say we're in 7th grade, you're only going to have 2 subpages, a 7th and an 8th grade. You only do what you can. All right. Now it's up to you how you want your pages to be written. You can include text boxes here that give you examples of what you can include a text box and tell me about what you're taking in 5th grade. Semester 1, semester 2, that's up to you. If you have a document in your Google Drive, you can insert from your Google Drive. If you have a video that you would like to include, you could upload a video from YouTube. That's all different options that you have, but you are required to create subpages within each grade level. So for subpage, 5th grade, number 1 will be your class that you're currently taking right now. So mine would be Fundamentals of Art. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and go back to our 3 dots here and add a second subpage in 5th grade. And we're just going to title it Second Semester, so that next semester all we have to do is change that title. I'm going to take a second to do the exact same thing for 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. And last but not least, 8th grade. Okay. You can change your themes. You can change your font styles. You can change the way that your website looks by clicking on these different titles. You can change the font, the color. Okay, but remember, again, it's supposed to look professional. Right, at any point in time, we can always go back to our homepage. And we can preview this as a viewer by clicking on the eye. And we can scroll through our website, 5th grade, fundamentals of art. And then this is where I will include any information that I might learn or artifacts that I might want to include for my fundamentals of art class. Right, if you have any questions, you can ask your teacher. They've all created Google Sites as well, so they will be able to help you. The main goal for today is to get your tabs.
All right, so that is the video on how to set it up. That's video 2. Let me stop sharing my screen right here. So you guys all have access to that in Google Classroom. But again, don't stress about it. We're gonna get it set up. Once we get everybody set up, and yes, 5th grade, you'll go ahead and set up 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. 6th graders should already have all that set up already. But that is the first thing I want you to go ahead and get done. If you have any questions about it, you can come to my office hours, or probably on Wednesday. That'll be after our warm-up, that'll be the first thing that we do, is go ahead and check and make sure everybody's got their classes set up correctly in the site, okay? That way you'll have it ready to go, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what I want on each page. But again, all that stuff is in the video. You can rewatch it again if you want to, just to get a little more familiar. And that's about all I got for today. Anybody got any questions? All right, cool beans. Yes, Bethany? Hey, twin.
She said hi.
Yay. What class do you have now?
She has dance.
Oh, nice. All right, well, you guys have fun riding out the storm, and I will see you Wednesday morning, okay?
Bye.